All right, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to the second podcast episode of the Grounded Podcast. I just want to say, for starters, if you checked out episode 1, I just want to say I appreciate you. The support is huge for kind of getting something jump started like this. I think the response has been really, really good thus far with just the people that I've spoken with and, the people that have kind of tapped in thus far. So I just wanted to start out by saying thank you for something that's, trying to take off. It's good to try to, get that initial support. So as we continue to go along, I just want to let you know that the support does not go unnoticed. So first things first, thank you. Much appreciation for that. Second thing is, as you can see, if you're one of my loyal YouTube subscribers and you watch my pod, the first episode, I was over there, I was making coffee. But in this episode, I have decided just to settle for buying coffee. I know, mad lazy. I apologize, but today, just a busy day to kind of get started. Just kind of dealing with some things in the gym first thing in the morning. Had an appointment after that, and then kind of head straight to the studio after that. So I knew that there's obviously things I wanted to address, and I know that like making the coffee with the French press is fire, but for the sake of this episode, I will be settling for, now granted it was local. It was the Frederick, it's like in downtown Frederick. It's like right off Main Market Street. I forgot the name of the coffee spot. I'll try to find it and I'll have my videographer put it right there. He did okay for the last video, so we'll see how he does for this one. Anyways, let's just jump right into things. Like I told you before, Grounded, it's all about being humble and being, kind of rooted and just understanding like what's important, what's not important, having realistic expectations. So for something for myself, right? So it is January 30th. We're almost in February, and something that a New Year's goal that I had set for myself, and it hurts me to even say this, but New Year's goal I set for myself is to stop drinking energy drinks, right? So I was a very, 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 very avid energy drinker. I'm talking multiple drinks a day, doesn't matter what it was. I was crushing it. On top of my love for coffee, I was drinking energy drinks. Start the day with coffee, pretty much ending the day with energy drinks. There would be times where I'd have an energy drink, 300 milligrams to the face at 8 p.m. That is treacherous. That is something that I advise to nobody. There's no reason in the world you should be drinking an energy drink at 8 o'clock at night. However, I'm going to partially blame some of my active duty time in the military. I worked a lot of overnight shift, so my sleep schedule's always kind of been jacked up. However, I did 12-hour shifts. I did 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. and I was doing that, upwards of 4 days a week, and it killed my sleep schedule. And that being said, that's where kind of my love for caffeine started. So I'd start my day with a coffee, then I'd work out, so I'd have pre-workout, and then I'd have at least 2 energy drinks throughout my night shift. Leading, fast forward to now, well, up until, January 1st, New Year, New Me, I was still drinking a lot of energy drinks. It got to the point to where I didn't even want the energy drinks for energy. I just enjoyed the taste, or and like, even when I'm like saying these things out loud, it sounds like I'm like this is something like an alcoholic would say. They'd be like, oh, I wasn't even doing it to get drunk. I just like the taste, or I just like, and then it becomes routine. So I already know that I have an extremely addictive nature. And for me, for a person like myself, and I'm sure there's a lot of other people out there like this, is like, you can't like something, you gotta love it. Like, I can't just like going to the gym. I love going to the gym. I can't just like, watching sports. I gotta love it. I gotta be a fanatic. I gotta know everything. So it's the same thing with caffeine. For me, at least, it was like energy drinks is like, I love them. Like, I would crave them. I would finish one and be mad that I drank it so fast. Like, that's where okay, there's a problem. Obviously, there's a health side of it too. One of my good friends, I went to Miami right before Christmas for a friend's wedding, and I linked up with one of my friends, and we were talking about, he was talking to me about how crazy energy drinks, like the ready-to-go ones from a can, and like how bad they are versus like if you have pre-workout or coffee or anything like that. He was explaining to me that there's different types of caffeine. I didn't even know that caffeine had types. I thought it was caffeine's caffeine. But there's caffeine anhydrous, there's caffeine dehydrous, like there's so much more to like the caffeine and like the type of, sources of energy you put in your body versus like green tea, black tea, coffee, whatever. So anyways, that being said, I'm 30 days in. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I've only had one energy drink in the last 30 days. And to me, that's a big accomplishment. So I'm gonna give myself a round of applause because there's no one else here to do it for me. But it is what it is, man. I'm actually proud of myself because I felt like I was hooked. Like, if anybody's ever been addicted to something and you cut it out and you like haven't looked back, I commend you because it is not easy. Like, you would think I was some type of crackhead the way I'd be like walking in 7-Eleven. I'm like, I can't. Then you got the little rain and the C4 and the ghost whispering to you, and you're just like, man, I can't do this, man, I can't. But I would say for the most part, like I'm past the point of where I like want an energy drink anymore. Obviously being in like a gym culture, being a gym owner, like you see like energy drinks are just such a big part of fitness now. So, you know, to each their own. To me, I'm just gonna stick with coffee for now. I still take pre-workout. But as far as coffee or as far as energy drinks and stuff go, I cut that out. If it's from a can and it's an energy drink, I'm not drinking it. So that was me. That's me. Something that like I feel like I set like I mean, I set a lot of different goals for 2024, but that was something that like I tried to set a realistic goal for myself of something that I knew was like it gonna have immediate impact. It was gonna probably, you know, maybe even save my life down the line, but just different things that like setting realistic expectations versus like, man, in 2024 I'm gonna be a millionaire. Come on now, let's get real for a moment. Is that gonna happen? Maybe. I'm not gonna say it's not, but is that a realistic goal? If you're already not making close to $1 million, being a millionaire probably isn't in the cards for you. I apologize, but let's be real. You know what I'm saying? So setting realistic goals and expectations is something that's gonna carry you to actually achieve those goals and then set the next one. And you can still continuously aim higher. But let's be realistic. You know, everyone has these crazy, crazy, crazy aspirations for 2024 or just for every new year. It's like, you know, this year I'm gonna start, you know, I'm opening up my own business. That's well within your cards. Like, you can do that, but you also have to be, you know, making the right steps to do that. And don't just say it, you know, kind of be about it, right? So that kind of moves me to my next point. I know my last episode, like I said, if you haven't checked it out already, go ahead and check out the Ground Up Podcast, episode 1. It's on YouTube. It's gonna be on Spotify, Apple Podcasts. But on the last episode, you know, I kind of went over my family dynamic and kind of everything that pertains to that. And so for myself, you know, I'm real big into like friends and family. Like, to me, if everything else was stripped from me, business, success, money, whatever, friends and family to me is something that like is a deal breaker. Like, I gotta have my family, I gotta have my friends. And I think it's something really important that, you know, you gotta think about. I look back at my life, I think back to, you know, the 27 years I've been on this earth. And I look back and I'm like, almost 10 years in, and I'm like, I'm so glad that I got married at 18. Again, this is my life. I'm not speaking to anybody specifically. You got to do what you got to do, right? But I actually really feel for those because a lot of my peers, like, don't have kids. A lot of my peers are not married. Like, a lot of the friends that my wife and I have are single, or they're dating, or things like that. And so for myself, like, I'm just gonna throw it out there. I don't envy y'all. I really don't, you know, and I'm not, this isn't like a brag or anything like that, but I'm very like thankful for my marriage. I'm thankful for my wife, and it's just, I look at the dating world now and I'm like, yo, there's no way in the world I could date in 2024. Like, me personally, there's no way I could date. Like, the things that I have seen from people, like, I mean, taking a step back, you think like social media isn't real. Just take the dating world, bro. Like, you really don't know who you're dating. You show up to a restaurant or you show up to like this spot where you guys are like, okay, like, we're gonna meet here. First of all, then it depends on where you found that person, right? Was it online? Was it on an app? Did you meet at a coffee shop? Did you meet, like, where did you meet at? Then you get to the point to where you're like, okay, you're sitting down, you're talking about yourself, like, oh, hey, I'm this person, and you're like trying to get to know each other. And just the thought of that just kills me. But then also too is that because you really don't know somebody, it makes you wonder, like, what are you really like? Because for the most part, you know, I think it's very rare to meet somebody who, like, they're gonna show you who they are day one. I feel like it's always like, man, like, I was in this relationship and things were going so good, and then all of a sudden, you know, I got punched in the eye. And then you look and you're like, or it's like, oh man, things were so good, and then you know, he stole my wallet and drained every single dollar that I owned. And it's like, if you really think about it, that person was probably like that from day one. they just did a really good job at hiding who they were. And then when they saw the opportunity, they took it. And it's unfortunate. Like, I say this not in a way of like, you know, for jokes, but kind of in a way of like, that's very, very unfortunate that people, like, they don't really show who they are in the beginning. And unfortunately, you know, when you're meeting somebody, of course, it's not like, hey, my name is Josh, and you're going to tell every single thing that someone would need to know. But I just feel like from a starter's, like, if you were like interested in somebody, if you're like, oh, like, I want to date this person, and you're going off of what you see on social media, you're not really looking for the right things, you know? Like, what are you actually looking for in a spouse, partner, whatever? Like, where do you see yourself, and does that person kind of align with where you want to go? I feel like I've seen too many relationships to where it's like, okay, I want to travel, I don't want any kids, and I don't want to ever, you know, settle down. I want to always be on the move. I never want to own a house. I don't want no dogs. And then they start dating this person. It's like, oh man, it's so great, it's so this. And then they get married, and then their first like argument, or their first like big fight or whatever is like, oh, you don't want no kids, or oh, I want to buy a house and you want to travel, or oh, you want to do like, and it's like, y'all never talked about this earlier. So it's not even just about getting to know somebody, but it's like about being realistic. Like, I just feel like too many people now in 2024 are like putting on this facade of like, I want to be so exotic, and you know, I want to be so, you know, I'm misunderstood, I'm mischievous, and you know, it is what it is, right? It's, I think everybody has their forte, has their taste. But for me, I truly feel like if people did a better job of like showing who they were from day one, there would probably be a lot more successful relationships, or people would just wouldn't waste their time. Like, who in the world wants to waste their time dating for somebody for years, and then you find out like, oh, they got this kid that they're hiding, or oh, they got this like crazy life thing that you look back and you're like, I can't believe I spent all this time with you, and I never knew this about you, or I didn't know that you actually like, you live like this, or you do this. And it's like, that's the thing. I look back and I'm like, I'm really glad I got married when I did, because for me, I got married in like after high school. So what am I really bringing to my relationship as far as like baggage wise, right? Not all baggage is bad baggage. You know, you come into a relationship and you feel like, okay, I have this going on, that going on, I have these exes, I have this trauma, and you bring all that into kind of your new relationship, which again, it's life, it happens, it's fine, right? But at the same time, for me, I feel like just because of like the type of person that I am, like, I'm just glad that I feel like I got through that young, and like I said, I really don't envy y'all, man. And I'm gonna be praying for y'all, because this is a crazy world that we live in. And you know, when you're choosing who you're marrying, you're choosing who you're dating, and also you're choosing who your friends are. You know, some friends are by default, right? So we have these friends that maybe they're coworkers, and I mean, I call that by default, because you really actually don't know those people that well. You know them at work, and then you get out of work, you're like, man, you're actually mad weird, but we have to talk at work, right? Then you got the friends that you kind of choose to where it's like, oh, we met at the gym, and now we're like, we talk every day, we talk out of the gym, we talk in the gym, we go this, we go that. Like, you have those friends like that. Maybe you have friends from school, friends from class, friends from college, whatever, right? But kind of the one thing that I really want people to take away from this episode is like, choosing your friends and choosing your inner circle matters. Like, it is so important to choose your friends wisely, because whether you like it or not, like, being somebody's friend is a choice, right? Like, being in a marriage or being in a relationship, it's a choice. So every day you wake up, you're choosing to be that person's friend. And like, define friend, right? What is that? So to me, it's like that person that you are relying on, that person that you can lean on, that person that is there for you no matter what, unconditional love, all those things. And those are the things that you choose. If you choose to surround yourself around people who are going to tear you down, and the people who are just nasty, that is what you're going to become by default. So if you're in like a friend group, and you have one friend who's known for just being like not the best person, if you're associated with those people or with that friend group, that is who you will become by default. Not because that's how you are. You might even disagree with that person, but you're like, I can't go against the grain on this. I gotta stay true. You know what I mean? This person that we go way back, or this is my day one, this is my whatever. But truly, they're just leading you down a path of where you don't want to go. I think one of the biggest things that you could see in like your friend group is like, how do people react when you start winning? Like, when you start actually winning in life, You get that job you've been working so hard for. You finally graduate and you got that degree you worked so hard for. You had your first kid. You got married. You know, did something that has high accomplishment to your standard. What are the other people around you doing? I feel like I've been in groups to where you start winning and people start looking at you like, why him? What did he do to deserve this? Why haven't I got my win yet? And when the second that you start seeing those people in your friend groups, and these would be the people that be in your own house or people that are closest to you, and they start looking at you sideways because you're winning. It's not a race, right? And I feel like, again, that kind of brings me back to like the social media point of like, everything isn't a race. Why can't we just be happy that somebody won and then keep it moving and then use that as motivation instead of hate fuel? And that's what I feel that like, that's why your inner circle matters, because you want to have those people that like support you in those times of where you're trying to accomplish something, and maybe they're helping you get there, right? Maybe they're supporting you in a way that like, and you need people to lean on. Nobody is self-made. Nobody can do anything at their own. And that's one big thing that I really, really want to hit home on is like, nobody can do things by themselves. Like, you need people to kind of share life with. If life was just meant to be lived alone, this would be such a sad and lonely life that would be so meaningless. And you would look back and you'd be like, why in the world are we even here? Like, what is my true purpose, right? So for me, like, I run a gym. So I see the joy in the people that come to the gym. I see the joy in the people that maybe they come in kind of gloomy and they leave a little happier because they got their workout in, right? I see people that come in, they see their friends, they get happier, right? I see people that come in that they hit, you know, PRs, they hit, you know, their personal records, they have this big accomplishment in the gym. That makes me happy. That brings me joy. But if I understand that that kind of relies on me having people around to enjoy those things, right? Like, everyone wants to be so like, oh, I need nobody ever helped me. I don't want no handout. I did this myself. I got out myself. I did this myself. And that's just your pride talking. It's not real. You want to boast so much about you got this on your own, when in reality, somebody opened up a door. Somebody had to say, okay, you got the job. Somebody had to say, okay, you got the house. Like, somebody had to open up that door for you. And so when it comes to like choosing friends and choosing your spouse and choosing the people that are involved in your day-to-day life, that is so crucial. Because if you have any type of negativity, any nasty people in your life, anybody that's, you feel like maybe this person is like holding me back and I didn't even really know it yet, but people always find a way to show face. Like, it's a matter of time. And they can't help it, right? They really can't help it. They look back and they're like, you know, something big happens, and then you look in the corner and it's somebody, and they're not as happy as you thought. You ever tell somebody good news and then you look at them and they're kind of like stale faced, and you're like, what did I say? And they're like, man, you know, I've been working real hard lately. Like, why are you gonna share that with me now? And you're like, man, this ain't even about you. What do you mean that you, like, I know how hard you've been working. That I just did this. Like, I want you to be happy for me. Again, those people gotta go. They gotta go. Who you are around you will become by default. If you're around a bunch of negative people, guess what? They're gonna kind of drag you down with them. If you're around a bunch of positive people, they're probably gonna build you up. Why wouldn't you want that, right? Like, I feel like we spend so much time hanging on to these people in our lives that like really have no true value in our life. And it's not even a negative thing to cut people off. Like, I feel like there's so many times where people are like, oh, you know, me and so, like, yeah, we had a falling out, you know, it just didn't really work out between us. And, you know, and then it's viewed as, oh, this is drama. It's, oh, I can't believe that so-and-so, they're not talking to me. They don't even look at each other anymore. And we view that, and that's like fuel. That's like just something to talk about, something to gossip about. It's like, it's whack. It's whack. Having a fallout with somebody is not a bad thing. Outgrowing somebody is not a bad thing. I'm going here, you're going there. You're not really supporting me. Maybe I don't agree with some of the things that you do. Maybe when I'm around you, I feel like my energy is like getting drained. Maybe when, you know, something good happens to me, it doesn't seem like it's good for you. People are just like, there's some people that are just like so like energy draining, and they just like, it's like just a balloon deflating in a room. And to me, what I've learned is that those people gotta go. And it's not like a, I'm better than you, see you on the other side, good luck with life. It's not even like that. It's more so of, hey, you know, we're not going to the same place right now. And I wish you the best. I continue to wish growth for you, but this is where I'm going, and you know, it is what it is. It's okay to have fallouts with people, because at the end of the day, if you're becoming a negative default by the people that you're around, you need to kind of start looking internally like, okay, who do I need to surround myself with? Everybody's not your friend. Everybody doesn't want to see you win. There's nothing wrong with that. It's life, it's reality. This is like the real part. All the little followers you got on social media, somebody's looking at your story and they're like, dang, dude's mad ugly. Or they're looking at your story and they're like, you ain't really get that. Or you ain't, like, somebody's hating on you as like, and they might even like your story. They might comment some hard eyes. They might swipe up, say something crazy. But they're really not rooting for you. They're really not happy for you. In my life, I have seen more success, or not even success. I've seen more support from people who don't even know who I am than people who are best friends, people who are in my inner circle, classmates, co-workers. I have seen, I want to say, even to the extreme, I've seen like 10 times the support from complete strangers than the people who are closest to you. Before I opened up the gym, I had a fitness apparel brand, Brick by Brick, right? Brick by Brick Fit. That was the brand. Before I opened up the gym, this was going to be like my little launch point. Hopefully save up some money to be able to open up a gym by opening up like or having a apparel brand. So there was a lot of things that I was doing that I had on my you know, my fitness page and everything like that, that I was you know, making apparel, I was selling clothes, I was doing a bunch of different things. And so whenever I would post that I was having, you know, oh, I have a sale going on, or hey, like I have this new drop of like, this is the winter line, this is this is that. And you would have thought that I would have, you know, maybe people that were in my family members, or maybe people that were, you know, in my friend groups, or people that were close to me. Those would be the first people that act like you're not selling nothing, or act like you don't have a business. The support is just not there. But then you would have people that you barely know. They buy every single thing you got. They're, you know, liking your post. They're following that page you just made. They're comment like that. They have that like genuine like engagement. And you would think that you would kind of get that, but then it's the people close to you. It's like, when am I getting my hoodie? Here's the link. You know what I'm saying? You can da 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 da. Like, I don't have to ship it to you. You can save on shipping. I'll just, you know, hand it to you. And they're like, so you tell me I gotta pay for this? Like, what do you mean? It's a business. It's always those things where like people don't take you serious when you like open up a business at times, because they're like, oh, when am I getting my, when, like you owe them something. No, unless they were physically doing something for you and you feel like, oh, maybe I can repay them by doing something else. No. In all reality, those people that are close to you aren't really close to you. They're not really supporting you. To me, I have found that the people that I want to keep in my life support me, because I'm one of those people that I am loyal to people that are loyal to me. And like loyalty doesn't necessarily need to have like, I feel like a lot of times loyalty has like a negative connotation to it. It doesn't, right? I've seen so many people, and you're gonna have to kind of Google this on your own time, because I'm not gonna say it for the purpose of this pod. But the second you start cheering for somebody, they call it DSing. Google what DSing is in context of like for somebody, right? It's like you're rooting for your man. Oh yeah, you're DSing. How? How am I DSing my man who I'm happy that he got this promotion? How am I DSing my man that I'm happy he got this PR in the gym? How am I DSing this man that just got married? It's crazy the culture that we live in, to where like you can't even congratulate your mans, or you can't even be happy for somebody, because now it's like, oh man, why you gassing that person up for no reason? Nah, man, look. If you're gonna take anything out of anything that I've been saying to date, or like in the duration of this episode, start looking at your friend group, man. be in your social settings and start looking at people sideways and be like, I don't know if you're really my friend. If you've ever had that thought about somebody, they're probably not your friend. It's not you being skeptical. It's not you being crazy. Like, really think about, like, the people that you have around, and you're like, really think like, hey, like, I don't know if this is my man's. I don't really know if I can trust this person. Trust is everything. Support is everything. Being able to lean on somebody is everything. And if you can't, if all three of those things, if you don't have no trust, if you can't lean on them, and if they're not really showing that genuine support, scissors, videographer, scissors emojis, throw them on the screen, because they don't need to be in your life. They're only going to hold you down. They're only going to hold you down. Think of it just as like excess weight. If you're trying to get from A to B, how can I get there the quickest? They're going to drag you down. You got to study for school, they want to go out and drink. You got a big competition coming up, they're not even going to show up. You got something big going on in your life, they're going to tell you why what you're doing is crazy, why your idea sucks, why this, why that. They got to go, man. They got to go. Like I told you in episode 1, the biggest thing I wanted to kind of leave people is you know, some Bible verses that can hopefully kind of help you during the week and make you kind of think on things and being like, you know, maybe this person in my life, or maybe the things that I'm doing isn't what I'm supposed to be doing, right? So the first, I actually have 2 verses this week versus like one verse I had last week, but the 2 verses I have, first one is from Proverbs 16:28. A perverse person stirs up conflict, and a gossip separates close friends. Think on that. Perverse person stirs up conflict. If you're with people who are perverse, right? Perverse, pervert, all that stuff, same root word. Those type of people that are around you are stirring up conflict. It's like those people that like, oh, it's like, oh, they're stirring the pot. They're stirring up conflict. Oh, it's that person that, oh, why are they gassing that up? It's not even that big of a deal. They're stirring up conflict. They want to see conflict. They want to put, in a friend group, they want to put those 2 people against each other just for the sole sake of entertainment for them. For laughters, for jokes, for this, for that. And this is your life. Like, they would literally put you against somebody for what reason? To make them look better? To have entertainment in their life? And that's why people like reality TV so much, because it's like drama. Like, they want that drama, that like real life drama. And people really want it in real life, so they will stir up conflict. And then when you gossip, when you start talking people behind their back, separates close friends. You could be the best of friends, but start talking about somebody behind their back and see if you're still close friends. That's not right. And I'm sure there's probably somebody in your friend group and in mine that's talking bad behind your back. And those are the people that got to go. It is what it is, right? The second verse I got for you is Proverbs 12:26. The righteous should choose his friends carefully, for the way of the wicked leads them astray. It's like what I was saying earlier. The people that are around you, choose them carefully. You have a choice. Like, you don't have to have the people that are around you, you're choosing to be around them. You need to kind of look internally and be like, are these the people I need to be around? I have this goal of being a doctor. Does my friend group support me getting to that goal? Maybe not. I have this goal of opening up my business. Does my friend group support me in opening up this business? Maybe not. Maybe they do. But if they're not, that's who you need to look at. You have to choose your friend. The Bible says, choose your friends carefully, because if you choose wicked people, they're going to lead you astray. And a lot of times astray could even mean as bad as death. Choose your friends wisely. So that kind of wraps up the episode. I think the big thing is, again, you got to choose your friends wisely. Keep the people around you that you want to have around. And just stay humble. Stay grounded. I'll see you in episode 3.